With regards to education, if it were up to me, one of the things I'd first implement is introduction of sexual education more than it is at the moment at a younger age, at about the age of about 11 or 12. Following the year of O-levels, I would introduce for those students who would be interested in it a year where they can work at the same time as exploring different courses that are available at university. So they would attend kind of trials of different courses to make up their mind about what they'd like to study in the future. And it would be a year where they can put that into conjunction with some work experience. And I'd also introduce public speaking as part of the education program for kids younger than the age of junior college, because you get to that age at 16 or 17 where you need public speaking skills and they're not there, you don't have them. So that's one of the things I'd incorporate, and also research at university level to be more widespread and giving more exposure.
Edukazzjoni naħseb kieku iktar ma jkunx daqshekk exam based, li l-ħajja tas-student ma tkunx daqshekk mimlija stress u tkun iktar imqasma equally għal kulħadd.
With regards to economics, I think the important thing is privatization. I don't like it when in certain countries you have the government is very involved in everything. I think privatization is important. It's good when people compete and when there's an open market and people are allowed to sort of go at it, because you have innovation in the technology sector, in the medical sector, in the business sector, things with marketing. So for me, encouraging competition and giving everyone the opportunity in the economy is very important.
Ja naħseb hawn bżonn ta' aktar inċentivi fuq business startups, naħseb hawn potenzjal kbir Malta. U iktar ma jmur iktar hawn nies li naħseb jixtiequ affarijiet dik l-area.
If I was put into power, I would eliminate the unemployment benefits. A lot of people believe it as, they come from families where they see their parents just literally doing nothing and receiving money from the government, and while lots of people go around complaining that they have no jobs, when in fact some of them really don't have jobs, whereas others are just saying it for the sake of saying it, whereas they may not have a proper level of education, but they will be of able mind and body, and yet they just won't have the will to do anything. They'll just live off the government while everyone else is paying their taxes, and basically the government doesn't have the funds to be able to support all their projects as they would be able to normally.
L-ekonomija għandha ħaġa fej tiġi mmexxija b'mod differenti. Issa kemm minn pajjiż għal ieħor, kemm minn kumpanija għall oħra, kemm minn industrija għall oħra, ifhem jien naħseb ħaġa pereżempju tajba li tissir bħalissa hija il-conceptual framework li qiegħda ssir tal-IASB. Din hija ħaġa tajba biex ħajkun hemm global network biex taqqat il-mod ta' kif il-kumpaniji jekkawntjaw għal financial statements tagħhom biex ħajkun hemm global framework tal-ekonomija tal-kumpaniji kollha. Ġifieri jekk għandek kumpanija f'Malta ma sax mhux tqabbilha ma' kumpaniji Maltin biss, jew tqabbilha ma' kumpaniji fl-Ewropa, fl-Amerika, f'postijiet oħra. Hemm iktar trasparenza kemm fil-financial statements kif ukoll fix-xogħol li jagħmlu kemm l-accountants kif ukoll l-awdituri.
The importance of having multiple parties. I think in the dream country and the dream city, you'd have a situation where a group of people wanting to start a new party legitimately might have aids, like startup companies have aids, maybe in the same way. People with new ideologies wanting to sort of grow, especially in environments where there are very few political parties. It would help if there was grants and ways to encourage people to be more active politically without having to sort of join parties which would already be well developed.
Sepp iktar ħaġa li tweġġa' il-politika huwa il-partiti. Għalax inti qed taqsam in-nies jew ħadd tivvota hekk jew ħadd tivvota hekk. Issa pereżempju f'Malta hija każ minnhom fejn għandek ġiġ partiti u mbagħad ħalli għandek il-partiti żgħar ma ftit jagħmlu effett ħabba l-mentalità tan-nies fejn inti bil-forsi jew blu jew aħmar, jew forsi hemm indaħlu l-aħdar ukoll.
The most important thing is probably sustainable development. having, for example, a watchdog over the environment is extremely important. We need to make sure people operate within the law. For things such as the height of buildings being in proportion to the width of streets, which is something which in New York they consider when building tall buildings, but in certain other places, for example, we have very tall buildings and very narrow streets that make it sort of claustrophobic, and also the fact that green area should remain green area in certain circumstances, that you shouldn't have 80% of a given area developed and having absolutely no natural habitat in the area. So I think sustainable development is extremely important for the environment.
In the environment, efficiency and use of power. So in Malta we have a great use of sunlight, so if we use solar panels to utilize that power, we'd probably be able to get rid of any reliance on other countries or on using fossil fuels forever, hopefully. Other sources of power wouldn't be viable, but you have to consider each country, what they have environmentally, where they are geographically, and what resources are available to them overall.
To combat the loss of green areas, I would introduce a policy where there cannot be an area larger than a certain size without a certain amount of trees or gardens. So more than, for example, 20 square meters, you'd need some trees or a garden or some kind of greenery to offset the amount of urban progress.
Personally, if I had to create my own world where I would implement culture is quite a big thing, because we're all different and we all come from different cultures in the world, and that's how we come together, through culture. So I don't think it's given enough importance. Most of the time we don't even know about other people's cultures enough, or about how extensive it is, because culture is not just about art, tradition and so on, because it goes back to our past and our ancestors, and I think it's about our future as well. So if we implement a bit more on culture, I think we can become a bit more united.
Multiculturalism is important, especially if you have a country which experiences a lot of changes with the kinds of people it receives. I mean, for example, in Malta we have a long history of getting people from the Arab world, from Italy, from England, different eras, and even now we're constantly getting flows of international students, international businesses. So I think being open and recognizing that culture can change while also having an identity is important. So I think with regards to culture, the important thing is finding that balance between integration and also preserving the identity. I think that's a challenge.